Assassin who disguised himself as a cop to shoot down Democrat politicians and their spouses. He killed 2 and seriously injured 2 others. Today, we're finding out he wrote a letter to the FBI claiming he was trained by the U.S. military, quote, off the books, and that Tim Walz asked him to kill Amy Klobuchar so he could take her Senate seat. Belter's facing state and federal murder charges.
You can't blame the Republicans for your monsters. If this guy worked for Trump, it will be headline news for a month. But he worked for Tim Walz, and all you hear is silence. You guys gotta check this video out.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Horror in the Heartland. What is happening in Minnesota is truly the stuff of nightmares, not just because of the sick and sadistic political assassination that targeted and killed the Speaker of the House in Minnesota. Melissa Hortman is her name. She's a Democrat, and she was gunned down in her home as police waited outside. It's an insane story, but it's true. This is allegedly Vance Bolter wearing a skin mask, a Walter White skin mask. I am the one who knocks. Ladies and gentlemen, he was allowed to enter the house after police...
So really quick, guys, they waited outside. They didn't storm in. They just let it happen, right? They just all out let it happen. And I'm sorry to pause the video so early, but everybody on the left says the police are violent, right? I guess they're not as violent when it's one of theirs. Because I believe that this is an inside job. And if you believe that and you agree with me, don't forget to comment and like the video. Let's keep going because I don't want this to be a long one.
He's got into a firefight with him. He ended up killing the Speaker of the House and then escaping. This is after he shot a state senator as well. If that's not insane enough, well, ladies and gentlemen, Vance Bolter was appointed to a prestigious governor's board by Tim Walz. Vance Bolter's wife, with whom he shares 5 children, worked for Tim Walz. We have those documents, and we even have the governor's signature there. The killer also had a No Kings flyers, lots of them, in the back of his vehicle. This is according to the Minnesota State Patrol. This is their official account. They said that these are the flyers of the far left-wing protests that went on against Trump. This is anti-Trump activity. They're trying to...
I'm sorry. Something just came to my mind, guys. Imagine the place that you're dwelling at right now, the place that you live at, right? If the police surrounded it and they suspected you of doing anything crazy and they heard gunshots, do you think that you escaped this place, said place? Do you think that you escaped? I mean, because I'm just listening like, so this guy crept out the back door. He got out the back door, or he dug a tunnel in 5 minutes. How did it happen? That's why I believe it's a cover-up. But I can't tell you that it is, because YouTube works a different way. Let's keep going.
To paint this guy as MAGA, but he seems anything but. Obviously, he was also very mysteriously running a nonprofit NGO to bring African migrants into the heartland of Minnesota. Not MAGA activity, quite frankly. Not America First activity. And again, the story is just strange. The cops shot up the home of Melissa Hortman. Didn't hit Vance Bolter. There he is. Is this the same guy? I don't know. A lot of people very suspicious here. We look forward to more evidence, and some very dark and strange evidence is now dropping. I'm not sure how he dropped his hat, by the way. This is how they found him. His inconspicuously placed cowboy hat that can be seen clearly in this video. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, he was cowering in the field, in a fetal position, shaking and crying, giving himself up. Huh? The actions of a cold-blooded killer? None of it makes any sense. But I just want to establish here, they're trying to paint this guy as like MAGA, as like a far-right Trump supporter. What? You can't. I mean, again, it just doesn't make any sense. Here's Tim Walz's signature on his appointment. He did, in fact, work with, and his wife worked for Tim Walz. We're not trying to point blame here. We're just trying to say that those who are trying to paint him as MAGA don't have a leg to stand on, and they haven't presented any evidence. Here he's being charged with a bunch of felonies. Good. We hope.
So The reason why I dislike media so much, the mainstream media, I dislike it so much is because this guy was appointed by Tim Walz, right? And they're still trying to link him some way to Trump. There's so much stuff coming out, guys, that I strongly suggest you just start hitting Google and start hitting Twitter and X and everything like that, just to figure out what's really going on, because that's what the truth is.
That he goes to jail for a really long time. We would like to get some answers to this. Obviously, we disavow all of it. Don't make no sense, though, man. There you go. It's a creepy ass mask right there. Okay. So what the hell's going on here? I don't know, man. It does seem like there's so much more that needs to be uncovered. Here again is his wife, and here is the proof that she worked for.
And really quick, guys, this guy had the No Kings all in his vehicle, right? That's Antifa language at its finest. MAGA, we wave flags, right? We don't really burn them. This guy was their Frankenstein. He was their person that they put up on a pedestal, and somehow he slipped through everything, and he avoided the cops. That's what I don't understand, guys. Let's keep going.
Tim Walz, all right? Staff members for Tim Walz. These are the following staff members who worked with and for Tim Walz. That's his wife, all right? So it is what it is. Sorry for us noticing. Are we noticing too much? Well, we're noticing this now. Exclusive, Vance Bolter blamed Governor Walz for shooting rampage in confession letter. He has a confession letter? Wait a second. I thought he didn't have a manifesto at all. Now there's a confession letter? Multiple sources with direct knowledge of the investigation confirmed to Alpha News. This is a big-time news network in Minnesota. That Bolter's so-called confession letter was intended for Kash Patel, the director of the FBI. So why would he write Kash Patel? Does Kash have the letter? Release it. Vance Bolter blamed Governor Walz for shooting rampage. Well, how and in what way?
And really quick, guys, if you're getting really, really, really tired of the FBI having access to all of this stuff that they won't release to the public, comment down below, because I really want to have a conversation with you guys, because it's really bugging me that they have access to so much stuff, but we can't see it. It's bugging me.
Multiple sources with direct knowledge say this. Okay, let's read the article. Assassination suspect Vance Bolter wrote a letter in which he blames Governor Tim Walz for the murderous rampage, according to sources. Multiple sources with direct knowledge of the investigation have confirmed this. They said that the letter was written to Kash Patel. The handwritten letter was discovered by law enforcement inside of the Buick that Bolter purchased just hours after he shot Minnesota General. Wait, he purchased a Buick? I'm sorry, this is like brand new news to me. So he went and then purchased a Buick? Goodness gracious. Awful. Here's that Buick, and here's one of those special robots, right, that they use to go and look in case the car has an explosive in it. After an expensive manhunt, the largest in Minnesota history, Bolter was arrested not far from his home. Bolter had been charged with killing Hortman and her husband Mark, shooting Hoffman and his wife. Both are recovering, thank God. The charging documents indicated that a handwritten note from Dr. Vance Luther Bolter was found, and that Bolter confirmed that he was the shooter at large in Minnesota involved in the two shootings. The charges also indicate that Bolter bought the Buick and an e-bike for $900 from a man he didn't know at a bus stop in North Minneapolis. What the hell? That man drove Bolter to a U.S. bank where he emptied $2,200 from his account. A surveillance camera at the location recorded Bolter wearing a cowboy hat. An image from the video was released by the FBI. Security cameras from Bolter's neighborhood in North Minneapolis, where Bolter rented a room, also showed him wearing a cowboy hat. So why was he renting a room in Minneapolis? Bolter rented a room in North Minneapolis, but also had a home in Green Isle. Several sources have confirmed that Bolter apparently made the 1-hour trip from North Minneapolis to Green Isle to retrieve a large sum of money that was hidden somewhere in his residence. However, Bolter never made it back inside, and law enforcement had already recovered the money. Okay. Walz was not named on typed copy of Bolter's hit list obtained by Alpha News, compiled and shared among law enforcement officials. Governor Walz, who recently referred to ICE agents as President Trump's Gestapo and urged Democrats to bully the S out of Trump, acknowledged that he needs more civil discourse this week. Very interesting. Well, but what's the context here? I'm not exactly sure, and I'm not sure that they explain. Minnesota politician shooting the suspect blames Walz. The letter reportedly meant to go to Kash Patel. I'm not sure why you would write a letter to Kash Patel. Does that mean that you're against Walz? That you're in favor of Walz? What does it mean to blame him? Are you blaming him as though Governor Tim Walz has a series of very incendiary comments, obviously, against President Trump and his administration, and saying that Democrats need to take further action. I'm not trying to place blame here, okay? Maybe I don't know more than the authorities. I don't know. What I'm saying is I'm putting the pieces together here. MAGA's not violent. MAGA doesn't run nonprofit NGOs to relocate Africans to the middle of Minnesota. That's not normal MAGA activity. MAGA doesn't work for Tim Walz, as Bolter's wife did, or serve on Tim Walz's appointed boards, as I've shown you all of the evidence for that. So, again, they're trying to paint this guy as MAGA. I don't get it. Tim Walz has an extreme series of violent.
It's so crazy because I see so many people. I'm 25 years old. I see so many people on my Instagram that I've went to school with, I've associated myself with, that they are so blind to the facts, right? These people are flying people in from the other country, giving them all type of documentation so they can go out and vote for the blue party and go against Trump, right? Trump is securing the border. You don't know what kind of people want to destroy us. You don't know what kind of people want to end America. But it seems like they just avoid those facts, right? It bugs me, man. Let's keep going, guys.
Rhetoric against the right, saying the Democrats need to be meaner, right? Well, is that what he's talking about? Or is he blaming Tim Walz as though, I'm doing this to get back at Tim Walz? I don't know. But I'm giving you the evidence. You can see it there. Yet what I don't see in any of the guy's background is, I'm a big Trump supporter. I'm doing it for Trump. That's not in there.
No.
So you're going to have to release this evidence. Let's find out. But there's zero evidence that points to this guy being MAGA. Okay? If you have that, please show it to me. Yeah, I have a feeling it'd be splashed all over every Nightline News and newspaper on Earth, every social media feed, if there was some type of smoking gun Trump sticker, right? For instance, Ryan Routh had a Joe Biden, Kamala Harris sticker. He's the guy who tried to shoot Trump at his golf course. Well, it's a pretty obvious indication as to what Ryan Routh wanted. Clear? Savvy? Okay. Another mysterious thing that I just can't get out of the back of my head is that there was a break-in at the murder scene. So this is the house that Vance Bolter was allowed to go into. I'm sorry, that's just what happened. The police found him outside. The police caught him outside. They said, "Get that, what the hell are you doing?" They got into a firefight with him, and then they let him go into the house and commit the murders. And then they let him escape. Then he escaped, which is, I'm sorry, insane. Maybe I'm an old timer at this point, right? Still in my 30s, but maybe I'm an old timer and I just assume cops are supposed to go after the bad guys. But that's what happened. We have the police recordings, right? Go watch them. We've played them a bunch of times on the channel. So Vance Bolter goes in here, commits his horrible murders. It's awful. And the crime scene got broken into. Nobody took anything. No valuables were taken from the house. So who the hell is breaking into this home? Why would a criminal go and break into this house? It's obviously being monitored by the police. It's an active crime scene. It seems like very high risk if you're just trying to grab a TV or some jewelry. Are they meddling with the crime scene? Is something more nefarious happening here? I don't know.
Listen here, guys. You don't sit there and spark the flames and then get mad at the people with the water hose. That is exactly what they're doing. This guy was not MAGA. If this guy had a red hat in his closet, a red shirt, red pants, anything red, CNN would have lit it up like a Christmas tree. But he was tied to Tim Walz, and now they want you to forget. But we won't. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're new. And as always, let me know what you react to. We're out.